had my first instance of what I feel then developed into obsessive compulsive disorder when I was 16. It was my birthday, and I said something, I can't even remember what, but had a thing of touch wood, you know, how everyone does, and you say something you don't want to curse it or tempt fate, so you touch wood. But I didn't have any wood around, so I touched my head. So in the last 3 years, things started getting much worse, and I had a lot more habits and a lot more things that I was doing and I couldn't snap out of. So it started with I'd say something or do something and I'd touch my face, like touch wood. But then if I had 2 intrusive thoughts and I'd do it twice, I would then, it would be 2 just didn't feel right. So then it moved on to 3, so it was either 1 or 3, and then suddenly, and after a while, 3s didn't start feeling right either. So so the number I'm currently on and the number I've been on for a while is 4. It then adapted into everything I did had to be in 4, so 4 sips of drinks. If I ate a sweet, I had to eat 1 or 4. If I'm walking down the street and there's pavement and drains, I couldn't walk on a drain, say, with 2 feet. I had to do it with 1 or 4. And that's when it started getting quite bad, because whenever I walk anywhere, it's counting. It was at its worst. In June last year. I went to Canada to visit a friend. She lived out in Whistler, and the flight from London to Whistler or Vancouver is 10 hours, or 10 and a half hours-ish. And I spent 10 and a half hours having the intrusive thought of the plane's going to crash, plane's going to crash, plane's going to crash, and touching my chin 4 times to stop that happening. Because in my head, and in the heads of people with OCD, whatever you think, it will come true. It's not a maybe, it will. It's called magical thinking. So I was on this flight there and back for, like I said, 10 and a half hours. And yeah, it's pretty exhausting. So when I landed, I kind of had enough, and I was exhausted and drained, and looked into services around and found Kingston ICOPE. I live in Kingston, London. From where I was when I started to where I am now, it's leaps and bounds. It's completely different. I don't feel like, and I don't think, you ever get cured of OCD. And I constantly have intrusive thoughts, which are normal. Everyone has intrusive thoughts. It's the way you attach meaning to them with the disorder. And I still do my rituals. They're just so reduced compared to how they were. So in that instance, come on leaps and bounds, but obviously still a long way to go. And there's always the option to go back to CBT later down the line if I need it as well. So that's quite good.